During the third millennia, in a strange place known as the United States of America, a war was brewing. Brainwashed Marxist idiots in colleges across the nation clashed with equally brainwashed, anime-obsessed neo-Nazis. Starbucks windows were shattered, Dodge Challengers were totaled, and Muslims realized that rental vans were cheaper than plane tickets. Skinny, anemic millennials from coast to coast were hospitalized with life-changing injuries such as sprains and first-degree burns. And the heroic knights of 4chan rose up to defeat Shia LaBeouf and drive the evil villain into a descent towards a madness the likes from which he would never recover. As the enemies of freedom destroy the cities that raised them, as America begins to resemble an Iron Maiden album come to life, two heroes have risen up to fight against the culture of utter madness and restore sanity the only way they know how, by refusing to take any of it seriously. Mersh.
And I said, hey, oi, let's chop your penis off. Oi, can I have me penis back? Why do you have dreadlocks, you white oppressor?
Royce Lopez.
Always be aborting. A always be aborting. Always be aborting.
Breaking news.
Breaking news,
You're
guys.
hearing it only on our show first. Apparently Donald Trump has worked out a deal. He will get the wall. Unfortunately, it's going to be a rock climbing wall.
Oh, no! The other side's going to be a slide. You climb the wall up and you just
lands into a nice, clean, chlorinated pool. And then you immediately get a welfare check. Fucking A.
Oh, shit. He was a boy, he went to girl, now he wants to be a boy again.
Oh, God, just stay a girl if you're going to be this indecisive.
I think Caitlyn Jenner's a handsome woman with a great penis. Look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with trannies. I just don't want to put that one's cock in my mouth.
Bound forever by their mutual love of smoking marijuana, Simpsons references and affection towards Alex Jones, these two men have joined forces to bring you uncut news and opinions directly from the belly of the beast. Saving Western civilization one childish dick joke at a time, here they are, your new heroes of the Imperium, Mersh and Royce Lopez.
Folks, we are inching ever so closer to the weekend. We got two more shows to put in the can, as they used to say in ye olden days.
See, because film, you used to put it in these things called cans.
It was on film.
Very, very flammable stuff.
How did that work? Well, we're going to spend the next 2 hours today telling you how film works because it's a slow news week anyway. Kidding.
Well, it
Welcome
all
aboard.
started with, we're not doing it? Okay.
Well, let's do Revenge of the Sis is the name of this fine program. One of the most divisive programs you can find out here on the internet. Loved and or hated, depending on who you speak to. Mike Sheely and Royce Lopez, two of the last men known left who have not been Me Too'd on the planet.
Yet.
I'm looking at you, closer. But
that's why we have two front doors.
That's a fucking who's like fucking who was in charge of rape prevention back in the 80s? Vault Tech?
Dude.
Nah, you gotta get two doors, mate. That'll never happen.
Look, this is his opening statement. Look how he came in fucking hot.
He came in swinging. It's weird too because like nerd rage is weird, right? Because let's be honest, Kavanaugh, he's an accomplished man. He's certainly a Chad in the sense that he's done well for himself. He studied and achieved greatness, but he's a fucking nerd, right? We can agree. Like probably doesn't cheat on his wife. Probably orders the same thing at the same restaurant all the time, right? He's ordered the same brand of dress shoes for the past 25 years. Brett Kavanaugh is a nerd. Nerd rage is awesome. When you keep fucking with a nerd who's a nice guy and finally he comes in looking like this. This is what a school shooter looks like.
Right.
When you just every day, and one day they just come in like, and today was the closest you'll ever see Brett Kavanaugh to committing a school shooting.
Also, let's look at the positioning here. So right here, this guy right here is the lawyer. He's these two. This one over here,
Lou Diamond Phillips,
him, and him, her and him.
Oh, God.
These are Ford's lawyers. They're the ones sitting next to her doing this. Now,
Alyssa Milano is one of Ford's lawyers.
No, back here, right behind one of Ford's lawyers. See, we have Alyssa Milano, who has set herself over his shoulder. No, guys, this is a fair hearing, though. This is an absolutely fair hearing. Jeez, that's like having Mike Tyson over Ford's shoulder, just looking.
It is really ridiculous how. And, you know, I said to Royce earlier today, too, you know, because I know it's political and they're trying to make a point with, oh, look at Alyssa Milano. It's not only that. With as far as Me Too, I'm going to associate it with Me Too. Look at these strong sisters standing together. It's also because they know that a good chunk of their dumb fucking base, the Democrats, the retards, the daytime TV watchers, let's call them. Is that good? We start calling them daytime TV watchers. They're dumb people. So a third of them are going to see this. Brett Kavanaugh he's telling this side of the story. He's opening up. He might start convincing you. Mm-hmm. But a third of us are going to go, hey, look, that's Alyssa Milano. Hey, remember Who's the Boss? That was a good show. While he's crying.
And I saw most of the entire morning live. I was watching the Ford testimony. And again, and you said it, but I said it too. It's like, I'm sure something terrible happened to her. I really don't think it was Kavanaugh. I don't.
She definitely was diddled as a kid.
There's no corroborating witnesses. The other people that were there are all saying we have never met her. We've never were at this party. They can't tell you where the party was. Things to take away from her hearing really quick, so we don't have to go over it. She remembered it because when they were building her new house, she wanted 2 front doors. She doesn't remember who drove her to the party. She doesn't remember when she left. She doesn't remember when her grandma's funeral was because it was around that time.
This is a terrible rap song.
And after she read the entire script that totally she wrote, after she read the whole thing, they had to make several corrections because she kept changing her story.
This really does.
Yeah.
This really sounds like the worst Flo Rida song ever. Pull up to the I can't remember. I can't remember. Rolling up with I can't remember.
By the way, Brett came in hard, and for some people that are saying he's weak, no, this is an established lawyer who has had 6 FBI background checks already. 6 FBI background checks. And then the whole hearing, all the Democrats were filibustering and doing their 2020 campaign speeches, of course. And they kept saying, we need an FBI investigation. That's not how FBI works. You get that, right? Like, they don't investigate.
And I'll point out something, too.
Yeah.
This is I know he's innocent. Because nobody, even in the Trump administration, for political reasons, would double down this hard if they had even a little.
Right.
Because this is the most scrutinizing thing we've done in a long time. So, again, look at like Al Franken. There's a lot of these where they go, well, I don't remember the situation, but, for the good of the party, I'm going to go ahead and decline the position. And they bring out Amy Barrett, and we would all move on. There's something about this. No, I didn't fucking do this. And now it's like, well, even if you step aside, I don't care. We're still going to cover how I didn't fucking do this. Nobody does that unless they know they're an innocent person. And again, especially with rape. Rape is a weird thing. You can tell.
You heard it here first, folks. Rape is a weird thing.
Rape's a strange thing, yeah.
Oh, by the way, at the end of his speech, we missed it because we were going live. Brett Kavanaugh said, hey.
And this just in, Amy Barrett will now be considered as this guy.
Oh, fuck.
But yeah, there's something about the fucking anger and the rage. Yeah. That's where you kind of know, all right, this guy's not like, he didn't do this shit. He's fucking mad. Because, again, even Harvey Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein spent 20 years intimidating people with his wealth and also with his notorious rage, and he's yelling and he's bullying, and people just dealt with that shit, right? You notice Harvey Weinstein's not blustering right now. I fucking do this because he's like, all right, what kind of deal can we get? How do I stay out of jail? You start coming at this real humble. You don't come out like this with a fiery look of fucking Satan in your eyes unless you're like, okay, you know what? It's been fucking 3 weeks of this shit, Trump, and I'm going out there. And Donald Trump probably went, Brett, do what you have to do, brother.
I hear what you're saying.
I get it. Look, nobody understands more than I do.
Should we hear some of his opening statement?
Oh, please. Yeah, I love him.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Feinstein, members of the committee.
Could you hear the triple parentheses?
I heard it. It was an implied. It was implied. It was implied.
That was the first time I've ever heard triple parentheses out of a SCOTUS nominee.
Thank you for allowing me to make my statement. I wrote it myself yesterday afternoon and evening.
I had a Panera Bread. I ordered the broccoli cheddar soup. I sat there for about 45 minutes and enjoyed their lemonade. They even gave me a refill.
By the way, the I wrote it myself thing is, you know what he's implying there. He's not straight up saying it, but he's like, I wrote this myself. I didn't have a bunch of people write this for me like, fucking Garth Algar.
No one has seen a draft or it except for one of my former law clerks.
Who I then murdered after they read it and said it was good.
And then I raped his dead body.
This is my statement. Less than 2 weeks ago, Dr. Ford publicly accused me of committing wrongdoing at an event more than 36 years ago when we were both in high school. I denied the allegation immediately, categorically, and unequivocally.
Furthermore, I want to say, fuck your bitch and the clique you claim.
All four
fucking blood signs. We've lost our minds.
And West Side nigga. That's all I'm saying, bro.
4 people allegedly at the event.
I would also like to point out that she did in fact breathe, so she is a thought.
Including Dr. Ford's longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, have said they recall no such event. Her longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, said under penalty of felony that she does not know me and does not believe she ever saw me at a party ever. Here is the quote from Ms. Kaiser's attorney's letter. Quote, simply put, Ms. Kaiser does not know Mr. Kavanaugh, and she has no recollection of ever being at a party or gathering where he was present, with or without Dr. Ford. End quote.
She then went on to describe Christine Ford as, quote, a coal burner.
The day after the allegation appeared, I told this committee that I wanted a hearing as soon as possible to clear my name. I demanded a hearing for the very next day. Unfortunately, it took the committee 10 days to get to this hearing. In those 10 long days, as was predictable, and as I predicted, my family and my name have been totally and permanently destroyed.
Look at Alyssa Milano trying to make her best stank face behind him.
Stank face.
By vicious and false additional accusations. The 10-day delay has been harmful to me and my family.
Has Alyssa Milano ever came out and said she was raped by anybody?
Yeah, no, on the set of...
Who's the boss?
No, True Lies.
I was like, Tony.
Remember True Lies?
That was Elijah Dusku.
Isn't that the same person?
No.
Are you sure?
You're a fucking asshole. I really thought you honestly thought Alyssa Milano was in
to the Supreme Court and to the country. When this allegation first arose, I welcomed any kind of investigation.
I'm just saying this. Here's my thing, right? You notice, like, all these spokeswomen for the Me Too movement are all washed-up actresses who aren't getting work, right? Like, you notice, like, Ariana Grande doesn't have time or the energy to lead the Me Too movement. It's, you know what I mean? It's always a 45-year-old actress who was hot with Tony Danza in the 80s.
Ariana Grande is too busy getting Pete Davidson voicemails every 5 minutes now.
I love you, and I just want to say I love you, and I love you. And then I love you, and I got another tattoo of you, and I love you. Holy shit, dude. You're going to kill yourself when she leaves you. But I'm just saying, you've never seen a spokeswoman for the Me Too movement fucking, I don't even know who some of these young thoughts are. Who's a hot actress right now? 'Cause I don't even care about women under 25.
But it has to be a spokesman for the Me Too movement?
But I'm just trying to think of Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence out there once again fighting, sitting in the bleachers at the Senate confirmation hearings, fighting a good fight for women's rights. No, she has movies to do. It's always, well, I got nothing left, and I don't want to have one of those. I don't want my wicked. You know what it is? These are a bunch of former fucking 80s child TV actresses who don't want their Wikipedia article to be a stub. Well, where I get some activism chapters in there at the end. That's what it is.
Senate, FBI, or otherwise. The committee now has conducted a thorough investigation, and I've cooperated fully. I know that any kind of investigation, Senate, FBI, Montgomery County Police, whatever, will clear me. Listen to the people I know. Listen to the people who have known me my whole life. Listen to the people I've grown up with and worked with and played with and coached with and dated and taught and gone to games with and had beers with.
Oh, we got it.
We raped girls together. We played football together. Wait, what was the last one I said?
I forgot. I'm really confused today.
Listen to the witnesses who allegedly were at this event 36 years ago. Listen to Miss Kaiser. She does not know me. I was not at the party described by Dr. Ford. This confirmation process has become a national disgrace. The Constitution gives the Senate an important role in the confirmation process, but you have replaced advice and consent with search and destroy. Since my nomination
not the cool
in July,
Metallica song, but in fact, the mean search and destroy.
there's been a frenzy on the left to come up with something, anything, to block my confirmation.
You're ruining my family. My daughter cries every night, and now I got to take her out for ice cream every night to make up for it. And now she has a weight problem.
She's got a tummy ache now. You happy?
All these little side problems that are developing now. She's now she's stress eating.
Shortly after I was nominated, the Democratic...
I quit smoking 16 years ago. I have since picked it back up again. I will now be in the pocket of big tobacco.
Also, something else. Do we need actual Senate committee branded waters?
Of course.
Why just fucking have a Dasani there? Like, what is this shit about?
Senate leader said he would, quote, oppose me with everything he's got.
Yeah, and those honestly, by the way,
A Democratic
those are a fucking
senator on this...
pain in the dick to order.
Yep.
They're not like, they cost money because when I worked for this guy that owned a bunch of clubs, we cut those out because it was like, bro, you have to pay so much more for these bottles of water just to be cool and have your shit on it. Get some fucking, like he said, stop at a gas station and I'll have like fucking, what is it? What's the Florida one that?
Zephyr Hills.
Yeah, you get that Zephyr Hills for like $3 for 6 cases.
This committee publicly referred to me as evil. Evil. Think about that word. And said that those who supported me were, quote, complicit in evil.
Jesus.
Another Democratic senator on this committee said, quote, Judge Kavanaugh is your worst nightmare. A former head of the Democratic National Committee said, quote, Judge Kavanaugh will threaten the lives of millions of Americans for decades to come.
I just wonder if let's say he hadn't have picked Brett Kavanaugh, and let's say he picked like one of the other male candidates. I wonder how many rape allegations they'd have, right? Like it's just so ridiculous.
I think they had something for at least the top 5.
They had rape allegations lined up, just like they had the signs pre-printed. So when they announced it, they're like, "Find me somebody." I don't know, find me somebody. You know, remember when we all thought, you know, Trump would be way smarter if he just picked Amy Barrett, put a woman in there, and send a message, right? Trump's got such massive balls. He did this instead, right? Knowing it would probably turn into a circus, knowing that most of us now will just be furiously angry at the left for trying to ruin the life of a good man. Now, he got basically the hardest thing he could have gotten done. A white dude elected as the fucking Secretary of State. Now his next pick is going to just stroll in.
Yep, because you
really
could
easy.
only do this trick once.
Yeah,
You're right.
Trump's like, second terms are hard. They're very stressful. I'm front-loading my work. Like, you're a madman.
I understand the passions of the moment. But I would say to those senators, your words have meaning. Millions of Americans listened carefully to you. Given comments like those, is it any surprise that people have been willing to do anything, to make any physical threat against my family, to send any violent email to my wife, to make any kind of allegation against me and against my friends?
Who the fuck goes after a guy's wife and kids? Even if he did something as a kid, wouldn't you feel... Let's say Brett Kavanaugh was a serial rapist in high school. Shouldn't his wife and daughters deserve empathy? And shouldn't you go, my God, I feel so terrible for you. Wow, that breaks my heart. But you're sending them death and rape threats. The irony of sending them death and rape threats.
To blow me up and take me down. You sowed the wind. For decades to come, I fear that the whole country will reap the whirlwind. The behavior of...
By the way, I want to be clear right now, and because this is something that I think is important to point out, and tell me if you agree with me. Let's say this was a world, thank God it's not, but let's say Hillary won, right? Perfect example. So Kennedy, somebody steps down. Hillary appoints a Supreme Court nominee, a male, whoever, whatever, Garland, right? Or whoever. Hillary appoints any Democratic judge, they appoint him. Fine. Boom. If this same exact scenario happened but replaced a Republican with a Democrat, I would be equally as mad, even if I hated the judge. Just to be clear, because this isn't like...
Yeah, no,
I'm not defending Kavanaugh because he's a Republican. I'm defending him because the Me Too movement is fucking out of hand, and... If there was credible stuff, sure, but if this was the same story, I'd be like, this bitch is lying.
Oh, yeah, no, if this were just a alternate universe where all of the, scenarios were the same except it were a leftist, yeah, we would be getting told to stop punching right now. We'd be going, but you guys are being fucking disgusting.
Exactly.
We're just calling people rapists. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I see Royce's point. It could be if this were Hillary's pick, and the right were going, look at this vague kind of story from this mentally ill woman. And the guy went out and cried with his beautiful family behind him. I'd be like, you people are turning into fucking maniacs. Like, get over it. We lost. We had to deal with that for 8 years with Obama. And look, there were times that the Republicans did act pretty spurgy. They did. But they didn't act like, I don't think the Republicans ever got this insane. But the Republicans... They did push back against Obama, and they acted very spurgy sometimes. And we would have to go, God, hey, chill the fuck out. That's a little spurgy. Stop it.
Yeah, we've been talking about how the Me Too movement has been getting out of hand before it even crept into politics. And by the way, it is kind of creepy how that Me Too movement came out of Hollywood, and now they're using it as a weapon in Senate judiciary fucking hearings. It's weird, right? It's weird how that works. That's all interconnected.
Several of the Democratic members of this committee at my hearing a few weeks ago was an embarrassment. But at least it was just a good old-fashioned attempt at borking. Those efforts didn't work. When I did at least okay enough at the hearings that it looked like I might actually get confirmed, a new tactic was needed. Some of you were lying in wait and had it ready. This first allegation was held in secret for weeks by a Democratic member of this committee and by staff.
Feinstein.
It would be needed only if you couldn't take me out on the merits.
A certain member of this staff with dual citizenship to a certain greatest All right, Brett, just chill.
That sounds like half the fucking Senate.
Probably going to get you in. Just chill.
When it was needed, this allegation was unleashed and publicly deployed over Dr. Ford's wishes.
By the way, people were asking, what do you think Ford was promised to do all this? And that I honestly believe this, that sit through this, doesn't matter what happens, we're going to get you a cushy book deal. And I said it earlier today, and tell me I'm wrong, and you're going to be upset, but you're going to be upset because I'm right. Dr. Ford is going to write a book called, if he gets in specifically, Supreme Injustice.
I hate
Tell me that's not going to happen, though. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's a funny joke, but it'll never happen. Tell me we don't live in a world where she's going to be shilling that book on MSNBC and NPR. Supreme Injustice.
I don't want to be on the show anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's going to happen.
And then, as no doubt was expected, if not planned, came a long series of false last-minute smears designed to scare me and drive me out of the process before any hearing occurred. Crazy stuff. Gangs, illegitimate children, fights on boats in Rhode Island. All nonsense, reported breathlessly and often uncritically by the media. This has destroyed my family and my good name. A good name built up through decades of very hard work and public service at the highest levels of the American government. This whole 2-week effort has been a calculated and orchestrated political hit, fueled with apparent pent-up anger about President Trump and the 2016 election, fear that
Trump's ears are ringing right now.
Has been unfairly stoked about my judicial record.
And right after, you know what's funny right now? Rosenstein's probably waiting outside. Because remember, Trump was going to talk to him, waiting outside of his office. And Trump has Fox News on with this going on, going, tell him it'll be another 10 minutes. My buddy Brett's on TV.
No. But it's better than that.
Yeah.
He's now calling Rosenstein into the office because it's on TV. And he has to sit down while he's eating KFC with a knife and fork. And he's going, isn't this guy great, huh? I mean, he can handle anything, I'll tell you that much. Not like you. How are you doing, though? And he has to sit there and not have any chicken. He would wait until it's like reached its crescendo. Go, now bring him in. It'll be funny. Turn the volume up.
You think he turns it up and he goes, and all he has left is the shitty bottom meat, you know, when you get the bucket? You want one?
That was the worst.
I know.
Falling from this process. You've tried hard. You've given it your all. No one can question your effort.
You're the best around. Nothing's going to ever keep you down. That's what my dad used to always say to me.
Your dad was Joe Esposito?
Yes. I know for a fact I never raped Christine Blasey Ford. According to my calendar, I spent that weekend in my gi breaking boards with my strong hands.
I'll have you know that I ruled against the Dynatox Industries.
What if all his memories are from bad 80s movies? What if his recollections even worse than hers? I know I was training to fight Cobra Kai at the All Valley tournament. That was Karate Kid, Brett.
I would also like to point out that the town I lived in, you weren't allowed to dance in. There was no dancing in my town.
I'm sorry, that was Flashdance. Was that Flashdance?
Footloose.
Oh, Footloose. I'm sorry, Flashdance. Same shit. Oh, that stupid gay shit. I know for a fact that we were fighting all weekend with switchblades against the Sharks. No, that's
West Side Story. That's not what happened, Brett. Come on.
Very confused. And then now he doesn't get confirmed on his mental instability. I don't know where he's getting all these memories from.
I wasn't there. I was actually in a DeLorean in the year 2015.
No, that was Marty McFly.
Are you
Back
sure?
to the Future. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Back to the Future. Is the train one also not my memories? That's also.
Well, I mean, I'm sad and I'm also happy because I didn't like the train one.
Yeah, and I'll be quite honest with you. When Biff owned the casino, I was terrified.
As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, when Cory Booker spoke, he says, I was there, and I grabbed Brett Kavanaugh. He says, you get your damn hands off of her.
That's Rand. Rand is the only guy in the Senate Cory Booker can beat up. Look, guys, this happens every day, and then you guys aren't treating this with the dignity it deserves.
This is a historic moment in history, and you guys are all there messing around and laughing about it. You pieces of shit. So I remember we had to go into the sewers, and we found a pirate ship under there.
And all you alt-right people that never leave the house and never get laid, you could someday be SCOTUS and go, I did not rape her, Your Honor, because sex is degenerate.
I've never had sex.
Nobody touches me.
Sorry, Brett. Let's see. Come on. Mike, focus. Historic moment.
But your coordinated and well-funded effort to destroy my good name
Coordinated and well-funded.
and destroy my family will not drive me out. The vile threats of violence against my family will not drive me out.
You know, I remember when I was a teen that day, I was actually speaking to the first AI computer, and I was stopping a nuclear war by making it play tic-tac-toe with itself.
You may defeat me in the final vote.
But I will not be stopped by a ruthless cosmopolitan elite that have been kicked out of 109 countries. I will not.
You're doing so good. Stop.
I will not.
Read Siege.
Siege! You gotta read Siege! So pulling him out. You blew it over that, Kavanaugh? Come on.
But you'll never get me to quit. Never.
It'd be funny if he pulls out his calendar and he goes, oh, yeah, I guess I did rape her.
You know what? You said the 17th, but no, clearly here, the 18th, I haven't raped Christine Blasey Ford. At this point, I'd like to recuse myself and, explain everything to my wife and kids. It's going to be a long weekend, I guess. He also went on to say, I will not quit, can't stop, won't stop, That was also one of the quotes.
I also remember that couldn't have happened because me and my friend were carting around a dead body and using him to go on business trips.
I believe that was Weekend at Bernie's, sir.
Oh, Jesus! I watched
all
a lot
of your
movies.
memories, sir. Apparently, you just watched a lot of TV.
Yeah. I couldn't have been there. I was on a parade float in Chicago.
I'm here today to tell the truth.
I
I've
hate.
never-
Come on! And it just the feed cuts out. All right, look, man. Even Trump has to apologize.
Yeah, the feed.
He seemed like a good guy.
The feed cuts out, and then you just hear this.
Trump just coming out with the fucking. I have to distance myself. I didn't know he was going to crack under the pressure, but boy, did he.
Never sexually assaulted anyone. Not in high school, not in college, not ever. Sexual assault is horrific. One of my closest friends to this day is
Christine
a woman
Blasey Ford was a victim. Oh wait, what?
Damn it!
who was sexually abused and who in the 1990s
She
when
was
we were in
raped on a pinball machine, and I remember it horribly.
Oh my God! Now we have people in the chat room because I titled it with Kavanaugh about Christine Blasey Ford studied under Professor Frederick Melgs at Stanford, who was one of the leading practitioners of CIA's MK Ultra mind control.
Mind control. See, I've been trying to say from the beginning that they're using the heart machines to make rape victims out of the clouds. The condensation they'll create rape victim mind control spray.
Jesus,
and they're going around accusing good Irish potato N-words of having raped them.
our 30s confided
I think
in
a guy
me
named
about
Kavanaugh raped anybody. Irish people have never in the history of society raped anybody. Statistically speaking. We just get so drunk we can't even get it up.
abuse.
And then we go, oh, you're lucky. Now get out of here.
My advice, I was one of the only people she consulted.
I remember when I was a police officer in New York City, and I walked up and I put my clock on a lamppost, and I was like, I bet you nobody touches it.
Allegations of sexual assault must always be taken seriously, always. Those who
Always, though? Like all the time, though?
make allegations always deserve to be heard. At the same time, the person who is the subject
Brendan goes, even though he has kids, I'm not convinced he's ever had sex.
subject of the allegations also deserves to be heard. Due process is a foundation of the American rule of law. Due process means listening to both sides.
Can you pause? Cobra Commander, I understand that MK Ultra
No,
was...
his joke. Then you have to keep reading it. Then he goes, I used Reptile or Sub-Zero.
You're a jerk. But no, look, some people do make, in all seriousness, I know MK Ultra was real, but it's like any other thing when you go, MK Ultra was real, and I go, I know, but that doesn't mean that every person who mentions it in the chat isn't retarded. Like, every once in a while, you go, no, I get that that's real. You're also dumb. So that random guy he was pointing out, it's just, every time something, look at her eyes, you can tell she's a synth, and the Institute sent her to destroy Brett Kavanaugh. Like, what?
I would love to have, Mike, we need to do you as Jesse Ventura doing a show and get a Fallout 4 mod. Just talking about Fallout stuff.
Everything is fucking mind control.
Everything.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Hey, this is supposed to be vodka? The fuck, man?
Get this shit out of here.
Come on, man. She asked for like 50 things. I asked for one thing. Let's be fair here. Yeah. Sorry, Judge Kavanaugh.
Make sure it's Grey Goose.
Immediately.
No, it'll be Senate Committee vodka. They fucking label everything.
Senate Committee brand vodka. It's vodka.
As I told you at my hearing 3 weeks ago, I'm the only child of Martha and Ed Kavanaugh. They are here today. When I was 10, my mom went to law school, and as a lawyer, she worked hard and overcame barriers, including the workplace sexual harassment that so many women faced at the time and still face today. She became a trailblazer, one of Maryland's earliest women prosecutors and trial judges. She and my dad taught me the importance of equality and respect for all people.
This scumbag.
She inspired me to be a lawyer and a judge. Last time I was here, I told you that when my mom was a prosecutor and I was in high school, she used to practice her closing arguments at the dining room table on my dad and me. As I told you, her trademark line was, use your common sense. What rings true? What rings false?
All right, can we just, I want to just say something here.
Sure.
This is basically the summary of the tweet that I sent out that's still blowing up, which I'm pretty happy about. They basically took this guy, this squeaky clean guy that, and you can look at the percentages of good and average and bad people on this planet. Like the percentage of the very worst of the worst that society has to offer is very small. And the best of the best, the percentage is very small. And then there's a lot of us in the middle that are just regular shit people. This man is one of those very high percentage where he did everything his entire life that was asked to him, other than maybe sneak a couple smokes on the weekend and have a couple beers like any kid. This guy did his football and his dumb calendars, and he probably did those gay, remember the Erector set models? He's probably one of those kind of guys. He studied, he did well, he continued to study and do well. He accomplished things in life. He's never been in trouble. He built a gorgeous family, and he's done nothing but be a good dude. And he is fine. Like a guy like that, a guy like this, who is probably, despite probably attained a certain level in life, this is still a guy who probably still didn't really believe in the deep state or even think about it, or think about politics. This was a guy who was just a judge and did his job. And now this guy's experiencing firsthand the fucking crushing weight of what the deep state does to control shit and how much this whole shit is rigged. You guys, every one of you needs to fucking do whatever you do. Pray, say a thought, fucking write it down on a piece of paper as a wish, throw a fucking coin in a well, and fucking hope that this guy gets confirmed. Because we need a guy that has actually experienced the deep state attacking his fucking daughters. Like, we want that guy now. Because this motherfucker is never going to forget what these people have done to him. Like he's gonna be fucking. You know when they're wheeling him out like they always do later in life. He's gonna be like, "Fuck you, commie," with like Bell's ballsy face. Tell that goddamn commie to get the fuck out of my office.
Fucking eye patch.
Yeah, he's gonna be like Ty Cobb in a fucking wheelchair. So you asked for this, folks.
Here's some more.
Some 18 years ago, I left Dayton, Ohio, with 2 very bad knees.
Is this the baseball speech?
That's Mike Schmidt.
Yes, Mike Schmidt.
Let's hear him.
Some 18 years ago, I left Dayton, Ohio, with 2 very bad knees. And a dream to become a Major League Baseball player. I thank God that the dream came true.
Oh, boy. With that, the man who's worn number 20 for 17 years had to...
Look, guys, again,
Shit.
you know, every day we try to have a fucking conversation, and then you guys gotta be a
fuck.
bunch of goddamn children. Thank you to
12-pack, yeah.
12-pack for the $20 at Super
He's great,
Chats.
man.
Appreciate that. I guess we're officially now the biggest. Now we're big time.
Big
We're
time.
the big time. Do you ever go on those like big shows in their chat once in a while and get really sad?
Oh, don't even. Please stop.
It's the funniest. Like you just go to one of their like you go to like a medical
Super
stream
chat, super chat,
on a
super chat,
fucking
super chat,
Sunday
super chat, super
afternoon,
chat.
and you're like, if I went live right now on a Sunday afternoon, I'd pull 14 people. Watch somebody make 1,400 in like 8 minutes, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna go kill myself.
Her trademark line is a good reminder as we sit here today, some 36 years after the alleged event occurred.
In the great words of the Western philosopher Snoop Dogg, it ain't no fun if my homies can't have none. Thank you.
When there is no corroboration, and indeed it is refuted by the people allegedly there. After I have been in the public arena for 26 years without even a hint, a whiff of an allegation like this. And when my nomination to the
Look at this lawyer's face.
Actually, you know what? Okay, fucking Nick Smart. Oh no, Blackburn just sent me a very good pic. You know what Kavanaugh will be when they wheel him out in his old fucking SCOTUS days? He's gonna look like the judge from Nothing But Trouble.
Oh, yep.
Exactly. He's gonna
Taking his nose
Aykroyd and fucking Nothing But Trouble. That's gonna be Brett Kavanaugh in a few. Get away from me, commie! I don't care about your goddamn ovaries. They belong to me.
But he still plays the piano with Digital Underground.
The Supreme Court was just about to be voted on at a time when I'm called evil by a Democratic member of this committee, while Democratic opponents of my nomination say people will die if I am confirmed. This onslaught of last-minute allegations does not ring true. I'm not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time.
And again, I think I agree with that. I think you do too. That I think she was.
100%.
No one's saying she wasn't. I don't think it was Brett.
But I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge. I intend no ill will to Dr. Ford and her family. The other night, Ashley and my daughter Liza said their prayers. And little Liza, all of 10 years old, said to Ashley, we should pray for the woman. It's a lot of wisdom from a 10-year-old. We mean no ill will.
Oh boy.
You know what the worst part about this is how many fucking commies, far left people right now are looking at this man and don't feel anything.
No, at all.
Like I did legit. I watched the Christine Blasey Ford thing, and I immediately, from the moment I saw her speak, I was like, she is the victim of child sex assault. I could spot it. I could spot it it's it's easier to spot than almost anything. And it was something I immediately was like, Jesus, man, they're taking advantage of a very, very profoundly damaged woman, and I feel very bad for her. And I sympathized as I watched her. But there are leftists watching this guy right now and going, boo-hoo, fuck you and your kids, and you're like, what?
That's a good point. Not only that, but I watched the entire thing this morning, most of it anyway, with Ford, and there's a lot of things that were different. Number one, Ford kept giggling and laughing and joking with the Senate people, like drinking a lot of liquids, and something else is that Kavanaugh's really crying. Ford was doing a lot of the fake kind of crying. You know what I mean? A lot of, she's about to cry, but she's not crying. And then handing envelopes, man, look.
Yeah, Mike Schmidt was actually better than Christine Blasey Ford was.
It's true.
That was a man I went, Jesus Christ, you're really in the moment. You're crying right now.
Sorry. Stupid videos popped up. Okay.
First, let's start with my career. For the last 26 years, since 1992, I've served in many high-profile and sensitive government positions for which the FBI has investigated my background 6 separate times. 6 separate FBI background investigations over 26 years, all of them after the event alleged here. I have been in the public arena and under extreme public scrutiny for decades. In 1992, I worked for the Office of Solicitor General in the Department of Justice. In 1993, I clerked on the Supreme Court for Justice Anthony Kennedy. I spent 4 years in the
In 1994, I took a year off just for myself to kind of explore the world. But then I came back.
The media and the public. During 1998, the year of the impeachment of President Clinton, our office generally, and I personally,
speaking of rapists,
of an intense national media.
Oh, man, yeah, while we're on the topic.
And political spotlight.
While Bill Clinton was on a plane with Jeffrey Epstein, I was at my house with my wife.
I and other leading members of Ken Starr's office were opposition researched from head to toe, from birth through the present day. Recall the people who were exposed that year of 1998 as having engaged in some sexual
by the way, Ford passed the lie detector test. I'm sure she did. Do you understand there's a reason those aren't admissible in court? Again, if she was actually molested, she probably would pass it.
Worked. Exposed some prominent people. Nothing about me.
Can I point out something? I snagged this. The reason I got distracted, it was for work reasons. It was for purposes of the... Patton Oswalt just tweeted 5 minutes ago, and I have a feeling he's going to regret this. If anyone out there was hoping for a Pretty in Pink sequel focused solely on the James Spader character, tune into the Kavanaugh hearings. Hashtag, that's the end of the joke. Because rape's funny, because they believe Christine Ford, but it's also hilarious. So I have a feeling that Patton Oswalt's going to take that tweet down. So
did you screen cap it?
I screen capped it and I tweeted it. That's why I was like, ooh, which one is it though, right? It's because Patton Oswalt is the midget king of virtue signaling. So what's funny about that? Unless you don't, I think Patton Oswalt doesn't believe her either, which is why it's funny. But it's still funny to smear Kavanaugh as a rapist. He's a fucking literal troll person.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. Oh, you bitch.
2001 to 2006, I worked for President George W. Bush in the White House. As staff secretary, I was by President Bush's side for 3 years and was entrusted with the nation's most sensitive secrets. I traveled on Air Force One all over the country and the world with President Bush. I went everywhere with him, from Texas to Pakistan.
I mean, to be fair with Patton Oswalt, he's already remade a sequel of his wife with a new woman very quickly. It was a very quick turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once you murder your wife,
He didn't murder
allegedly.
his wife. That's no, I don't mean. I guess you could say allegedly, but
Well, when they're all right, I'll say this: once there's rumors that you've murdered your wife, I guess rape's not a big deal, right?
Pakistan, from Alaska to Australia, from Buckingham Palace to the Vatican. 3 years in the West Wing, 5.5 years in the White House. I was then nominated to be a judge on the D.C. Circuit. I was thoroughly vetted by the White House, the FBI, the American Bar Association, and this
And even
committee.
those faggots at the CIA.
I sat before
Jesus.
And you it just comes out of nowhere. You're like, he doesn't like the CIA. That's
why?
in 2006.
Don't say that, because then the Democrats will immediately vote him in.
Past 12 years. leading up
CIA
to my
bug
nomination.
already. Patton Oswalt is a disgusting misogynist and makes fun of rape victims. Fire Oswalt. Yo, doesn't he
what
have a
is
show
all-
going right now?
He has a few. He always has a bunch
Oh,
of stuff.
can't we? Come on, let's kick up a frenzy.
Handled some of the
We
most
should.
Let's get
significant
Patton
and sensitive
Oswalt fired
cases
from all this stuff.
affecting the
He won't get
lives
fired.
and liberties of the American people. I have been a good judge. And for this nomination, another FBI background investigation, another American Bar Association investigation, 31 hours of hearings, 65 senator meetings, 1,200 written questions, more than all previous Supreme
3 bottles of Tums.
Court. Throughout that entire time, throughout my 53 years and 7 months on this earth until last week, no one ever accused me of any kind of sexual misconduct.
Because those bitches knew what were coming to them if they did. Oh, sorry, what?
A lifetime of public service, and a lifetime of high-profile public service at the highest levels of American government.
Okay, calm down.
And never a hint
I drive
of
a Dodge
anything
Stratus.
of this kind. And that's because nothing of this kind ever happened. Second, let's turn to specifics.
That was all one? Jesus, we're only on second?
Unequivocally deny
1B.
the allegation against me, Dr. Ford. I never had any sexual or physical encounter of any kind with Dr. Ford.
Thirdly, look at her.
Dr. Ford describes in her allegation.
Number 5, have you seen my wife?
Yeah.
Assaulted Dr. Ford or anyone. Again, I am not questioning that Dr. Ford may have been sexually assaulted by some person in some place at some time. But I've never done that to her or to anyone. Dr. Ford's allegation stems from a party that she alleges occurred during the summer of 1982, 36 years ago. I was 17 years old between my junior and senior years of high school at Georgetown Prep, a rigorous all-boys Catholic Jesuit high school in Rockville, Maryland. When my friends and I spent time together at parties on weekends, it was usually with friends from nearby.
He's a good he's a good reader too, because you could tell he wrote it himself versus Ford, because Ford kept like basic. All she had to do was put her, like, she should have been her finger read while she was reading her thing at the beginning. He's doing a lot of looking at a couple things and remembering the speech, and then looking back down a little bit and then speaking. And by the way, remember, we're not talking about Ford isn't some hobo. She's a Yale professor. Remember,
She and I
Dr.
did not
Ford.
travel in the same social circles. It is possible that we met at some point.
Well, the Ivy
some
League
events,
is sort of
although I do not recall that.
it's
Okay.
overrated now.
All right.
To
So
repeat,
To women all your life.
Oh boy. Apparently we have told
institution
that
which
Would you
has-
say
we're told that Graham is losing his mind, and now we have to watch it.
done on August 20th?
Here we go.
I did meet with Senator Feinstein.
Did you know that her staff had already recommended a lawyer to Dr. Ford?
I did not know that.
Whoa!
Did you know that her and her staff had this allegations for over 20 days?
I did not know that at the time.
If you wanted an FBI investigation, you could have come to us. What you want to do is destroy this guy's life, hold this seat open, and hope you win in 2020. You've said that, not me. You've got nothing to apologize for. When you see Sotomayor and Kagan, tell them that Lindsay said hello, because I voted for them. I would never do to them what you've done to this guy. This is the most unethical sham since I've been in politics. And if you really wanted to know the truth, you sure as hell wouldn't have done what you've done to this guy. Are you a gang rapist?
No.
I mean, yes.
I cannot imagine what you and your family have gone through. Boy, y'all want power. God, I hope you never get it. I hope the American people can see through this sham, that you knew about it and you held it. You had no intention of protecting Dr. Ford. None. She's as much of a victim as you are. God, I hate to say it because these have been my friends. But let me tell you, when it comes to this, you're looking for a fair process. You came to the wrong town at the wrong time, my friend.
Oh, boy.
He's not happy.
Woo! Both fucking barrels.
Yeah.
Do you consider this a job interview?
The advice and consent role is like a job.
You consider that you've been through a job interview.
And through a process of advice and consent under the Constitution. Which
Would you say you've been through hell?
I've been through hell and then some.
This is not a job interview.
Yeah.
This is hell.
This
This is going to destroy the ability of good people to come forward because of this crap. Your high school yearbook. You have interacted with professional women all your life, not one accusation. You're supposed to be Bill Cosby when you're a junior and senior in high school.
Jesus, Bill Cosby's like right now going, come on, man, I'm going through shit already. Come on, dude.
And all of a sudden you got over it. It's been my understanding that if you drug women and rape them for 2 years in high school, you probably don't stop. Here's my understanding. If you lived a good life, people would recognize it, like the American Bar Association has the gold standard. His integrity is absolutely unquestioned. He is the very circumspect in his personal conduct, harbors no biases or prejudices. He's entirely ethical, is a really decent person. He is warm, friendly, unassuming. He's the nicest person.
Actually, a lot of rapists, they look unassuming and
Actually, if you have the dark triad and you have all three of those personality traits, then yeah, you're super tribe. All right, can you take your septum piercing out?
The one thing
this is Senate hearing Feinstein.
I can tell you, you should be proud of. Ashley, you should be proud of this. That you raised a daughter who had the good character to pray for Dr. Ford. To my Republican colleagues,
Oh, boy.
if you vote
I'm looking at you, Rubio.
no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics. You want this seat? I hope you never get it. I hope you're on the Supreme Court. That's exactly where you should be. And I hope that the American people will see through this charade. And I wish you well, and I intend to vote for you, and I hope everybody who's fair-minded will.
Senator Whitehouse.
Woo! Uh-oh, not White House, the Democrat.
Should we let things settle a little bit after that?
Like, that's not the best tone to start off with.
This is the Democrat, obviously, from Rhode Island.
These people are.
Do you saw that?
So out of
Let
touch.
that settle a little bit, huh?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get your little panties in a bunch.
Yeah. Sorry that I'm ruining this man's life and you
So,
can't see why.
Anyway, Judge Rapist. What?
What drug did you use?
If you want to, we'll take a 60-second break.
No, I'm good.
Okay, go.
Oh, here's what's hilarious. Grassley called them out on it. Should we let that settle? If you want, we'll take a 6-second. No, I'm good. Okay, cool. So you were just bolstering, right?
You're just being a tough
Oh,
guy?
you're being a tough guy? Is that what's
You're
going
just
on?
Trying to be cute? All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all
okay,
right.
fucking finish your point, guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm good. One of the reasons, Mr. Kavanaugh, that we are looking at the yearbook is that it is relatively consistent in time with
By the way, you have to remember something. Some pointed out White House from Rhode Island. He was a former prosecutor. Seriously, he was. That's why they have him up there.
the events at issue here. And because it appears to be your words, is it in fact your words on your yearbook page?
We submitted things to the editors, and I believe they took them. I don't know if they changed things or not, but
You're not aware of any changes, as far as you know.
I'm not
these are
aware
your
one way.
words.
I'm not aware one way or the other. But I'm not going to sit here and contest that. Have at it if you want to go through my yearbook.
Yeah, I'm actually interested. You know, lawyers.
This guy's just.
He's a prosecutor. That's what he was initially.
But he's just casting a stupidly wide net of like, oh, I want to look into all your shit. What you're
Not,
fucking-
I don't know how you pronounce that. That's the
I'd like
proper
to
name.
smell
of
your old gym bag, if I could.
Jesus.
What the
an
fuck?
individual you know,
Renata,
Renata. It's spelled with an E at the end. Renate. Is that
correct.
Okay?
We're going to dox everybody in your yearbook, and we're going to have press in front of all their doors because we want this process. Jesus, man.
And then after that is the word alumnius. What does the word alumnius mean in that context?
I explained that in my opening statement. She was a great friend of ours. A bunch of us went to dances with her. She hung out with us as a group. The media circus that has been generated by this thought and reported that it referred to sex. It did not. Never had any, as she herself said on the record, any kind of sexual interaction.
The person that they're saying's already said, no, Kavanaugh's a great guy. I've never had any sex with him.
With her, and I'm sorry how that's been misinterpreted, and sorry about that, as I explained in my opening statement, because she's a good person, and to have her name dragged through this hearing is a joke and really an
They're
embarrassment.
ruining so many people's lives.
No, this is ridiculous. I've never.
They're doing our job for us at this point.
Yep.
You know, what are you gonna do?
Friends, I don't know if you've done that or not, but that's what we were referring to in those two occasions.
Senator Cornyn.
Times they all only have 5 minutes to question. By the way,
Judge, I can't think of a more embarrassing scandal for the United States Senate since the McCarthy hearings.
Well, hey, Justice McCarthy wasn't a bad guy.
When the comment was about the cruelty of the process toward the people involved. And the question was asked, have you no sense of decency? And I'm afraid we've lost that.
loving feeling. Oh, that loving feeling. This is John Cornyn from
At least
Texas.
You lost that loving feeling. Now it's gone. Gone.
Gone.
Time being. Do you understand you've been accused of multiple crimes?
I'm painfully aware for my family and me to read about this.
And
Breathless reporting.
of course, the sexual assault that Dr. Ford claims that you denied, then the claims of Ms. Ramirez that not even the New York Times would report because they couldn't corroborate it. And then Stormy Daniels' lawyer released a bombshell
You should have called
accusing
him
you
creepy
of
porn
gang
lawyer.
rape. All of those are crimes, are they
You
not?
should have called him creepy porn.
They are, and I'm never going to get my reputation back. My life is totally and permanently altered.
By the way,
Judge, don't give
guys,
up.
hey, leftists, all you fucking deep state assholes. Let's say homie doesn't get confirmed. The Brett Kavanaugh 2019 lawsuit tour is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And that's a GoFundMe I'm chipping into. I will chip into Brett Kavanaugh's GoFundMe if he promises to sue every single cunt who was within 100,000 miles of Washington, D.C. For that 2-week period. I hope he sues every newspaper. I hope he sues everybody. I hope he's richer than Trump by 2020.
I'm not giving up.
The American people are listening to this, and they will make their decision, and I think you'll come out on the right side of that
Well,
decision.
I will always be a good person and try to be a good judge, whatever happens.
So
But
this is not a job interview. You've been accused of a crime. If you have lied to the committee and the investigators, that is a crime in and of itself, correct?
That is correct.
So in order to vote against your nomination, we would have to conclude that you are a serial liar. And you have exposed yourself to legal jeopardy in your interaction with this committee and the investigators. Isn't that correct?
That's my understanding.
You talked in your interview with Martha McCollum the other night about a fair process. Some of my colleagues across the aisle say, well, the burden is not on the accuser because this is a job interview. The burden is on you, but you said you weren't there and it didn't happen. It's impossible for you to prove a negative. So I would just suggest that you have been accused of a crime and that a fair process under the United States Constitution and our notion of fair play means that the people who make an accusation against you have to come forward with some evidence. Isn't that part of a fair process?
Yes, sir, Senator.
And part of that means that if you're going to make an allegation, there needs to be corroboration. In other words, you're not guilty because somebody makes an accusation against you.
All right,
in
I
this
have an
country.
idea.
We're not a police state.
We need to go to break.
We don't give the government
Instead
that
of running
kind
a
of power.
commercial like
We
usual,
insist
okay.
that
Here's what I'm going to do,
those
guys. Instead of
charges
running a
be proven
commercial,
by competent-
I'm going to leave this up at the most recent place so
Take
you
quite
guys,
the same approach
you
as
guys could keep watching it. All
require
right.
that if somebody's going to
We'll be
make
right
that
back.
accusation
Revenge of the Sis.
against you, then they need to come forward with some corroboration, not just allegations. And you're right to be angry about the delays in your ability to come here and protect your good name, because in the interim, it just keeps getting worse. It's not Dr. Ford. It's this story that not even the New York Times would report, the allegation of Ms. Ramirez. And then Stormy Daniels' lawyer comes up with this incredible story accusing you of the most sordid and salacious conduct. It's outrageous, and you're right to be angry. But this is your chance to tell your story, and I hope you have a chance to tell us everything you want to tell us, but the burden is not on you to disprove the allegations made. The burden under our system, when you accuse somebody of criminal conduct, is on the person making the accusation. Now, I understand this isn't a trial, like I said, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood. It's hard, and I hope people understand the gravity of the charges made against you and what a fair process looks like.
Senator Klobuchar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Judge, we're talking here about decency, and you understand we have this constitutional duty to advise and consent. And for me, when this evidence came forward, I decided that I needed to look at this, and I needed to find out about it, and I needed to ask you questions about it, as well as others that were involved. So again, I'm not going to take quite the same approach as my colleagues here and talk about Don McGahn or any of this. Why don't you just ask the president? Dr. Ford can't do this. We clearly haven't been able to do this. But just ask the president to reopen the FBI investigation.
I think the committee is you're doing the investigation. I'm here to answer your questions.
No.
And I should say one thing, Senator Klobuchar, which is I appreciate our meeting together, and I appreciate how you handled the prior hearing, and I have a lot of respect for you.
Well, thank you. All of that aside, here's the thing. You could actually just get this open so that we can talk to these witnesses and the FBI can do it instead of us. And you've come before us, but we have people like Mark Judge, who Dr. Ford says was a witness to this. We have this polygraph expert that my colleagues were raising issues about the polygraph. We would like to have that person come before us. And I just think if we could open this up.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I guess I am. But Mark Judge has provided sworn statements saying this didn't happen and that I never did or would do.
But we would like the FBI to be able to follow up and ask him questions. You know, we talked about past nomination processes, and you talked about those. And I note that President George Bush, in the Anita Hill Justice Thomas case, He opened up the FBI investigation and let questions being asked, and I think it was helpful for people. So was his decision reasonable?
I don't know the circumstances of that. What I know, Senators, I'm here.
But the circumstances are that he opened up the investigation so the FBI could ask some questions. That's what he opened up the background check.
I'm here to answer questions about my yearbook or about, what I,
Okay.
and my sports or,
Okay,
summer
I'm not
league
going to ask.
basketball.
Okay, I'm not going to ask about the yearbook. So most people have done some drinking in high school and college, and many people even struggle with alcoholism and binge drinking. My own dad struggled with alcoholism most of his life, and he got in trouble for it, and there were consequences. He is still in AA at age 90, and he's sober. And in his words, he was pursued by grace, and that's how he got through this. So in your case, you have said here and other places that you never drank so much that you didn't remember what happened. But yet, we have heard, not under oath, but we have heard your college roommate say that you did drink frequently, these are in news reports, that you would sometimes be belligerent. Another classmate said it's not credible for you to say you didn't have memory lapses. So drinking is one thing.
I actually don't think that's the second quote's correct. On the first quote,
We're back.
if you wanted, I provided some material that's still redacted about the situation with the freshman year roommate. And I don't really want to repeat that in a public hearing, but just so you know, there were 3 people in a room, Dave White, Jamie Roach, and me, and it was a contentious situation where Jamie did not like Dave White.
By the way, in the reason Clarence Thomas opened up an FBI investigation was because it happened. It was a federal case that happened on federal property, not a 36-year-old state law enforcement case.
All his furniture out into the courtyard.
Okay.
And so he walks in, and so that's your source on that. So there's some old.
Drinking is one thing.
And there's much more. Look at the redacted portion of what I said. I don't want to repeat that in a public hearing.
I will.
Oh, this bitch is really nervous too.
Okay, drinking is one thing, but the concern is about truthfulness. And in your written testimony, you said sometimes you had too many drinks. Was there ever a time when you drank so much that you couldn't remember what happened or part of what happened the night before?
No, I remember what happened, and I think you've probably had beers, Senator, and so.
So you're saying there's never been a case where you drank so much that you didn't
So they're going to crucify him for never blacking out?
You're asking about, blackout. I don't know. Have you?
So that's not happened. Is that your answer?
Yeah, and I'm curious if you have.
I have no.
Dude, he's not playing anymore.
He's done.
I'm curious if I have. If you have. He got her, though, and she goes, I have not. So it goes to show he's not the only person in the world who's never. Here, guess what? This dude doesn't look like someone that drank so much that he blacked out. He's a nerd.
Including any senator that's brought
Kavanaugh's look, I hate to slag my fellow potato N-words, but for an Irish guy, Kavanaugh comes off like a real 3-beer queer.
Yeah.
Like he definitely, his idea of having a couple beers with the boys is a lot different from Mersch's idea of having a couple beers with the boys. And this is an argument I was having with people earlier when it was live. People going, oh, so he never got blackout drunk? Oh, he kept a calendar? Oh, yeah, like we all did that when we were kids. I'm like, yeah, none of you faggots are in line to be a Supreme Court justice, okay? Oh, wow, Kavanaugh's childhood wasn't exactly like mine? Yeah, no shit. That's why he's a judge and I'm an alcoholic. So, yeah, his life was, like, there's so many people that are comparing him to them. Oh, well, I wouldn't have kept a calendar as a kid. Yeah, you also work at a Quiznos and you're a massive faggot.
Oh, he's never snorted meth like me? I fail to believe that.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
We're capable of making our own determination about the accuracy of any of those allegations. The FBI has put out a statement over, now I suppose it's a month ago, clearly stating this matter is closed as far as the letter being sent to them, and there is no federal crime to investigate. If Senate Democrats hope for the FBI to draw any conclusions on this matter, I'm going to remind you what Joe Biden said. Now, I said this in my statement, but maybe people aren't listening when I say it.
In
Maybe they won't
1994
even
or
hear
3,
this.
Joe Biden said that FBI.
Joe Biden, quote, "The next person who refers to an FBI report as being worth anything obviously doesn't understand anything. The FBI explicitly does not in this or any other case reach a conclusion, period. They say, he said, she said, they said, period." So when people wave an FBI report before you or even bring it up now as something prospectively, that wasn't in his quote. Understand they do not reach conclusions. They do not make recommendations. Senator Hatch.
Mr. Chairman.
No, don't take a break.
Mr. Chairman.
He really is. And that's how
All right, they went to break.
Bunch of fucking old farts can't even get through a
So
hearing.
it's going to be probably a 15-minute break. That's what it's been all day. So we could probably play it. We'll have some. Here's what we'll do. We'll go back to it, but we'll go ahead and play some other stuff.
Yeah,
you
fuck
know.
these people. I'm over it.
We will go back to it. I promise. In 15 minutes, I'm keeping an eye at the time. So, Mike, how about we make people laugh for a little bit while we wait for them to come back?
I mean, I'm always doing that anyway, but whatever. I'm always on point.
You have a laugh calendar for every time you make someone laugh?
I mean, I honestly have to get like extra large boxes to fit down all the incidents of laughter.
So this is a fight at a Cubs game, and racial slurs were used. This one's
At a Cubs game? Nah, get out of here. I don't believe you.
Get off me, James! No! Get off!
By the way, keep in mind while this fight's happening, the baseball organ music playing in the background.
Being in it, just up there playing.
No! Get
Kid punch is hilarious, right? Yep. Young people, it's weird. You punch. You know, it's funny when you're younger. You're always like, "Meow." You swing your arms around. As you get older, you literally punch people to kill them.
Of course.
So as you get older and your rage increases, you're just smashing people in the face, sometimes with objects.
I believe you called him a spick and a beaner. Seriously.
No, he's hit me in the face! He hit me in the face! Stop it!
By the way, as you'll find out later on to the video, women started this fight. But by the way, also the women that started were actually very cute.
I can see the one telling her boyfriend to stop it. I'm like, all right, she's kind of cute.
Leather Jacket was part of it too.
He's smacking the face!
She's cute.
Yeah, that was the one yelling,
Yeah.
stop it.
So now this other guy, they're coming at him. I think this guy wants everyone to know there's no fighting in the bleachers.
Well, clearly, there no fighting in the bleachers policy is failing.
I don't think it's working.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the other woman who was in it. She's also cute.
Hey! Right now! I need your shoulder.
How are there two cute girls at a Cubs game?
I
That's
don't know.
a record.
There's no fighting in the bleachers!
Look, this guy Nick Kroll wants you to know there's no fighting in the
God,
bleachers.
He does look like Nick Kroll.
There's no fighting in the bleachers!
Mike,
This is
Mike, is there fighting in the bleachers?
There's so much layers of weirdness
This
to
is-
this
I
video.
know, this
the
is-
organ in the background, the drunk guy. There's no fighting in the bleachers. Like, there's so much. It's a Cubs game. This is such a sad video. It's so sad.
There's no fighting in the bleachers!
Oh, okay, good.
Mike.
When he puts it that way, that's the 7th time. Guys.
Guy, are you not listening?
I think he's trying to get something across to you kids. Little life lesson for you. Instead of fighting in the bleachers.
my hat. That's mine, sir. We got this
There's no fighting in the bleachers. I'm at the point where I'm like, hey, anybody want to go fight this guy?
Can we please
It's
go
really
fight
annoying.
in the bleachers, though? Take that shit to the lobby.
Beat the shit out of him. There's no fighting in the bleachers, guy. And then see if he fights back. See if he violates his own. Like Batman, if he'll break his own one rule. And now, Cubs fan, you'll have to break your one rule. You're going to have to fight in the bleachers. And then just start smacking him in the face. Until he has to fight you. And then he just shuts down, and then you realize, you were a synth all along.
She's cute, but she's hammered. Look at those eyes.
Oh, she just licked her. The way she just licked her lips, she's got dry mouth. She's all drunky.
That's drunk.
She's got a couple fucking beers at the game and a couple too many ciggies.
Yeah.
And now she's like, I just watched her go. Like one of those really bad ones where you're drunk ass bitches. She's DTF.
Fuck y'all! Fucking
Well, he's not wrong.
When you're acting like, look, and I'm allowed to say because I'm Hispanic. When you're acting like a spick, you get called a spick.
Yeah, seriously. And I can say it even though I'm white. If you're gonna act like a spick, don't be a spick.
Fuck y'all! Fucking fucking
Here we go again.
Now the woman his girlfriend came and punched him in the face. You saw that? She came in. Here we go again. But now the other bitch, she ain't having it too. These bitches gonna fight.
Oh, he's letting his girl just get over.
Hey, Mike.
Look, I get it. The Cubs suck, but I mean, this isn't gonna make your life any better.
There's no fighting in the bleachers.
Apparently, there's a lot of fighting in the bleachers.
Someone should correct that. Gentleman.
Apparently, there's exclusively fighting happening in these bleachers. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, wait for the piece of la resistance. You haven't seen it yet. Here it comes. Pay attention to what the Hispanic woman says.
Hey, let's go. Leave her alone.
She cute though. Now watch. Ready for the speech? Ready for the Independence Day speech?
Oh no.
Here it comes.
You'll never what?
Know what it's like.
What's like? To be
I guess being a hot
girl with a
Hispanic
terrible
woman?
temper.
Yeah.
So basically, to be one of the most basic fucking models of women on the planet.
Know what's like? Woman who couldn't buy full jeans.
Yeah. With being yeah, dude. By the way, like, you're a really hot Hispanic girl with a terrible temper. Again, you are one of the baseline models for women. It's one of the most populous, high percentage of the population on the planet. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Eternal Entropy goes, can you wrestle in the bleachers? I think you're allowed to just there's no fighting in the bleachers.
Where's Emily Eustace when you need her?
I
selling pistachios out there.
I actually have audio of the guy that started the fight. You want to hear it?
Sure.
Okay.
Some 18 years ago, I left Dayton, Ohio.
No, that's not.
Yeah, it is. Listen.
With 2 very bad knees.
No, it's listen. It's him.
This is Kavanaugh. I remember.
Yeah.
And a dream to become a Major League Baseball player.
Look. No, seriously, I think Emily Eustace should get a job here at the Cubs stadium selling pistachios to people so that she can also bring the peace to people. Because she'd come out like Roger in a wig and go, it's really, you guys should be teaming up against the Jews, right? You should talk to my friend Pat Little. He's really got hip to the game.
There's no fighting in the bleachers.
He really does look
All
like
right,
Nick Kroll.
he does.
He looks like a cross between Nick Kroll and Muammar Gaddafi.
You're right. Guys, there's no fighting in the bleachers.
I really wish that, guys, if you're gonna leave this Cubs game tonight and take home one thing with you, I would hope it's that there's no fighting in the bleachers. I won't have it. Not on my watch.
What do you think was going to happen? Oh, I'm sorry, good sir. I forgot the no fighting in the bleachers policy.
Oh, when did they start that one rule?
Oh, because last week there was fighting. I went to commemorative fighting in the bleachers week.
You know, I was here at Thursday night's game too. There was also fighting in the bleachers then. Are you sure this is a rule?
And since it's Chicago, everyone that left was immediately shot.
You're saying fighting in the bleachers is a rule. I'm saying I think it's a tradition.
There's no fighting in the bleachers.
There's none. You think there is, but there isn't.
There's something about. I love how devastated this guy is. It's the best part.
His life is ruined.
You guys are fighting in the bleachers, man. You're ruining this guy's whole thing. You're ruining a nice day at a fucking baseball game that I'm assuming costs about $12 to see. And how sad is this? Is this after the game or before?
I think it was. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly when it was.
Or is that just the average? It's got to be after because those bleachers are a mess.
It could have just been one of those midweek games that people don't go to. You know what I mean?
What a shithole.
Yeah. I'm a left-handed guitarist. Oh, wrong guy.
Aren't sports super fans just the biggest pieces of shit retards?
Worst. They're the fucking worst.
They really are gross. Like super team guy for any team of any sport. So fucking gross. You know the guy that sees 45 Cubs games a year and has the fucking jacket on and the hat. Ugh.
So did you see the bus driver that fucking lost it?
Which one? They should all lose it every day of their lives.
This is from a couple of days ago. Now, I want to show because they don't show the beginning. So allegedly, I've read more. Here's what happened. This lady that's yelling at the bus driver, this is the night bus shift where they don't stop at every stop unless there's somebody, at the stop. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course. Tampa does that a lot.
Right. So this is one of those things. Apparently, this lady wasn't, the guy couldn't see her, and then she finally stopped. She got on the bus. This is basically the movie Falling Down. You'll never see another person lose their mind like this. That does a blue collar job.
All right! Hey, take a deep. All right, now! Stop talking back to me! God damn it! I'm not talking back. Yes, you are! I'm trying. Quit right now! I'm trying to. You want me to just quit right now? Hey, everybody! Does everybody want to? All right! Stop talking back to me! This is a stressful job!
It's a stressful job. I was at a Cub game and people were fighting in the bleachers. What do you want me to do?
He's a tad bit out of control.
Just get off the bus. I'm having a stressful day. I don't want to hear you back talk. Everybody else is. I'm just venting. Okay. I'm 7 minutes down. I'm sick and tired. It's not all right. I'm going to get written up for it. You don't do my job. You don't know what you're talking about. But I know you got to be a good job or you wouldn't be here. You need to chill. Just let me vent and don't talk back. Just ignore me.
All right, this guy's a murderer in the making. This guy's a fucking tinderbox of rage.
See, you're not ignoring.
But by the way, the lady's not helping.
She's not helping, but look, you're a man. You're not acting like a man right now. You're acting like a big. You notice it's always big, fat guys that act like that are big balls of rage with no impulse control. Like you're acting like a big fat baby.
He has to wear shorts to work.
You know what would have been the acceptable situation? And maybe you did try it, and maybe it wasn't. Again, because Royce always points out, this is one of those tapes that starts right in the middle of the incident, so you don't really know what the lead-up was. But maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But if you didn't, consider in the future calmly saying to somebody, hey, listen, having a rough day. You're absolutely right. But I'm having a tough day, so why don't you just back off? In most cases, usually people will back off.
Yeah.
Did you try that? I have a feeling you probably were like, sorry, immediately. I have a feeling that 90% of your daily interactions every day are like this.
Brandon goes, well, he has no hope of being in the Supreme Court now, so just let him vent.
You're talking back.
Poor Brad. At least he got a job quick.
Yeah.
I am telling you to calm
down.
You need to, because you are out of control.
Is that Roseanne?
It sounds like it.
It really sounds like Roseanne, doesn't it?
She's hit rough time. She's on the bus now.
People criticize me. You've never done this job before.
I know, and you've never done ours.
See, there you go.
Well, not a great job if you're riding the bus.
Because I'll sit here all day if you want.
Guys, look, I think we could all agree that everybody's live on that bus is terrible.
From the driver
Right?
all the way to the back.
Nobody's disputing that. Let's stop turning this into a contest.
Talking back.
You've never done ours.
See, there you go. Because I'll sit here all day if you want to keep talking back. I'll sit here all day. Stand up at the stop so I can see you like this.
I told you to yell at me.
At least wave your hand so I can see you at the stop.
I was looking.
At least wave your hand. Go ahead, you can record me. I don't care.
You could record me. I don't care. Then wait. Now here the realization kicks on him.
I don't want to record you.
It's too late. He's gonna put his recording on the RTs. I don't care. I don't care if I get fired. I'm sick and tired of people. I can't do everything. I can't read your mind.
Okay, we can't either read your mind.
Are you getting off here?
No, I'm getting off further down, but I'll let you know, and I'll still tell you thank you and have a safe night.
All right, lady, you're pushing it.
Oh, she can.
Excuse me, don't use the F word. You're the
She used it first.
driver, dude. You're supposed to be responsible.
Yeah, don't use the fucking F word, dude.
Dressed up, man. This extra board, this bull.
I'm an extra word too, but I'm not cussing. I some different shit.
It's okay, you've never done this job.
I know, and
I have to deal with tweakers, drug addicts, mental cases.
He does.
People threatening me. I've had it.
That's discrimination. You are out of line.
Discrimination?
Why is it discrimination?
To tweakers or mental
cases? He didn't
cases?
say that to anybody on the bus. He said,
No.
I deal with all of these. Oh, and I bet you do, bro. You know, when I worked in clubs and I would take the bus and stuff, especially at those creepy hours, especially the number 2 bus in Tampa that goes along Nebraska, I have always been so nice to those people because it's like, Jesus Christ.
Here's more info on it, by the way.
But first tonight, we are learning more about the incident caught on camera involving an RTC bus driver flipping out on his passengers.
Stop talking back to me. This is a stressful job.
Well, 13 Action News reporter Gina Lazaro spoke with the man who shot the 9-minute-long video and tells us how he was scared for his life.
You sound like a homo.
This is a stressful
I'm
job.
scared for my life.
Wait till you see the guy that was scared for his life.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait.
All right, now. Stop talking back to me.
This was the moment Tony McDew whipped out his cell phone and started recording as an RTC bus driver began lashing out at passengers.
I'm sick and tired of people criticizing me. You've never done this job before.
I know, and you've never done ours.
See, there you go. Because I'll sit here all day if you want to keep talking back. I'll sit here all day.
Tony says he's
But didn't
been
you say you're
taking
going to get
public
written up for being behind?
Yeah.
transportation for years, and he's never
This is the one who was scared for his life.
seen anything like this before.
I've seen drivers, kick people off the bus and, because they were doing things.
He was scared for his life. You remember the TV show The PJs?
Yes.
Tell me that haircut is not the dude from The PJs.
I've never seen a black troll doll.
This is absolutely that. This guy's I was sent more videos from this dude because apparently he's one of those guys who rides the bus and all that stuff, but he wants to be like, some sort of YouTube show. He's really good. He's really good.
And things like that, but nothing.
He's really good.
Of this nature. It was just out of character. I was very scared for my life.
Tony says he's not positive what even prompted this all to happen, but he believes it had to do with passengers not following the rules, causing the driver to stress out.
If the job is not for you, you don't need to have that job. There's other jobs.
Other bus riders
Thank you, Tony McDew.
we spoke with were also shocked.
And then he just starts naming jobs for an hour. You could be a cashier, work as a car detailer or a taxi driver. You could go Uber, deliver pizzas.
Want to see some other Tony McDew videos? Just like maybe one more so you could see
Well, they're going to tell us what happened to Mike Epps over here?
Oh, let's find out.
In my opinion, he shouldn't even be driving the bus because people do have a right to speak.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I got to ride my bicycle to a liquor store. Well, with no self-awareness in tow.
I hope I get fired. Because I have to deal with
Vegas. This is in Vegas.
It's making me mental.
Tony says he showed his family the video before making the decision to turn it into RTC.
Safety of the passengers, and that's what ultimately that's the reason that I turned the tape in.
Tony says he's glad he did. Gina Lazara, 13 Action News.
Tony looks like he was just struck by lightning. He looks like he was just struck by... Or you know what? Tony looks like he's just turning into a Super Saiyan.
And I turned the tape in.
Look at that haircut.
Look, he looks like he's... Yeah, Tony looks like he's invincible and he jumped out of a plane with no parachute. And when he hit the ground, that's what his hair looked like.
Oh, shit. Look at that haircut. Jesus Christ, Tony.
Tony says he's glad he did. Gina Lazara, 13 Action News.
And the general manager of the company that hires bus drivers for RTC says the driver in question has been taken.
By the way, the general manager that hires bus drivers also takes the bus to work.
It's true.
Out of active
but for
service.
free, though.
Yeah, which is nice.
It's a good deal.
Is that a
Pretty
good
dope.
deal? Sounds like a terrible deal. Let's see if we're back. Let's see what's going on here at the Kavanaugh hearing. Hold on. Let's see.
This is worse than Robert Bork, and I didn't think it could get any worse than that.
Oh, we did. We got a little bit back. Okay, let's see.
Say one thing? Yes. Just going to say, I started my last colloquy by saying to Senator Klobuchar how much I respect her and respected what she did at the last hearing, and she asked me a question at the end that I responded by asking her a question, and sorry I did that. This is a tough process. I'm sorry about that.
I appreciate that. I would like to add, when you have a parent that's alcoholic, you're pretty careful about drinking. And
Ew!
the evidence, and I
Listen, could you let Senator Jim Norton please finish your point?
Yeah, that'd be great.
and I would call it a bad.
I do not mean to minimize the seriousness of the claims. Yeah, they've been serious claims, but the search for...
Are we done with all these old people? Because I mean,
assertions.
even if they're on our side,
Like Dr. Ford, Judge Kavanaugh deserves fair treatment.
David Hogg.
He was
no,
an
I didn't mean
immature high
that.
schooler.
I mean, this
So
is
were
like
we all. That he
this
wrote
is
or
like
said
pop
stupid
pop.
Well,
things
listen
sometimes
here. I got a real problem. How can you
I
write
understand the desire of my
property?
colleagues
You should be
to tear
dancing
down
in front of a
this man
Six
at any
Flags.
cost. I do understand it. But let's at least be fair and look at the facts or the absence thereof. Guilt by association is wrong. Immaturity does not equal criminality. That Judge Kavanaugh drank in high school or college does not make him guilty of every terrible thing that he's recently been accused of. A lifetime of respect and equal treatment ought to mean something when assessing allegations that are flatly inconsistent with the course of a person's entire adult life. With those comments, Judge, I'd just like to ask you a few questions, if I can, about how...
What's the best date rape drug?
Help me get through a bunch of them.
Do you like GHB or Hypnol? Because they're both really effective, but I'll stop it with the GHB.
Against you.
It was a week ago Sunday, one Washington Post story.
Isn't that amazing? Did the ranking member raise these allegations in your one-on-one meeting with her last month?
She did not.
Did the ranking member raise them at your public hearing
Feinstein.
earlier this month?
No.
Did the ranking member raise them at the closed session that followed the public hearing?
She was not there.
Did the ranking
Did
member...
6 million Jews really die during the Holocaust? Wait, what?
Am I a Jeff Sessions clone?
1,300 written questions that were submitted to you following the hearing.
Now I have to go back to making cookies in a tree.
When was the first time that the ranking member or her staff asked you about these allegations?
Today.
When did you first hear of Ms. Ramirez's allegations against you?
This nigga looks like Cotton Hill.
In the period since then, in the New Yorker story.
Did the rank...
Look at Alyssa Milano holding a sign. Look, she's holding. I'm sorry, I just caught this. That's Alyssa Milano right there. But they're cutting it off.
She's tweeting too.
But look at the sign she's holding. Believe women. Look.
Member or any of her colleagues or any of their staffs?
Look.
I know. I see it.
Oh, you bitch!
So look, she's doing the same thing with she's tweeting And she has all the top tweets for the thing because she's on TV and then she's hashtag. Like, this is all, again, guys, there are no successful women in the Me Too movement. It's all women who, they don't have anything else now and they got to do activism and Me Too is hot right now.
Ask you about Ms. Ramirez's allegations before they were leaked to the press?
No.
When was the first time that the ranking member or any of her colleagues or any of their staff asked you about Ms. Ramirez's allegations?
Today.
I think it's a disgrace between
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Jesus. They're called African Americans now.
Judge Kavanaugh, today's hearing is about Dr. Ford's serious allegations about sexual assault.
All right, look. I like that Todd Barry is trying to fucking troll these people in real life. Yeah, it is. This hearing's from 9 till question mark.
Todd Barry is just trolling America, and he made up a whole guide so we can go get elected.
You have unequivocally denied those claims.
Frankly, I don't know how anybody's not picked up on this by now.
I hate this episode of Dr. Katz.
But we're here today to assess her credibility and yours. And in our
Democrat from Delaware?
previous vigorous exchanges in the previous confirmation hearing rounds, I found that your answers, at times vigorously defended, but at other times struck me as evasive or not credible on key issues. And it's against that backdrop that I'm seeking to assess your credibility today.
What did Kavanaugh ever do that did seem evasive?
My bosses have told
It
me
brings
that I am to continue to find you not credible. So until they give me the green light, yeah.
If I can return to a line of questioning my colleague was on before, which was about whether you've ever...
First, I'd like to ask you to stop staring at my massive head. I know I look like a gray alien. And I would really, really like you to stop looking. It's a massive
I
head.
have to hurry up. I have to go be the doctor on Voyager. So if you would let me go.
He looks like Neelix.
The answer to
He looks
that
like a
is
cross between...
basically
If
no,
they
I don't
put
know really.
Neelix and the doctor in a transporter...
You're right. It had like a
And
Jeff
it had,
Goldblum
like,
fly. Yeah.
The reason
I don't mean it that way, but no is the basic answer unless you're talking about...
Would you like to go
something
rest
where-
your head, Senator?
that I'm
For
not
a little
aware.
bit.
Yeah, it looks like your neck has to be killing you.
Would you like some sort of... He has to have like a special stand built for his shoulders that like would hold like a massive Fabergé egg. He looks like a fucking Fabergé egg.
He looks like, remember MODOK from X-Men? The one that was just a big head with just little feet?
First, on your point about the outside evidence, all four witnesses
Well, let me focus. I'm trying to get this.
Yeah, he has to hurry up and get into his yellow Hummer that Mike Ehrmantraut told him not to buy.
witnesses who were allegedly at the
I
event.
just want my
have said
baseball cards.
Dr. Ford's longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, who said
And if
she's
Mark
never...
Judge were in front of us today to question, we'd be able to assess his credibility.
But
Let
he's-
me just get this through if I can, Your Honor.
Oh, these Democrats are doing everything they can.
Hey, Mr. Coons.
Yeah.
This is going to end very badly for you.
Kavanaugh drank more than a lot of people. He'd end up slurring his words, stumbling. It's not credible for him to say he's had no memory lapses in the nights he drank to excess. I know because I drank with him. How should we assess that?
She then goes on, if you kept reading, and says she actually can't point to any specific instance like that.
The quote that jumped out at me was Brett.
You mean the only quote that you highlighted and read and you didn't read the whole story? Holy fuck. Isn't it sad that these senators...
He hit a wall immediately.
Yeah.
You mean he followed up by saying, I can't remember when that happened, though.
Article.
Yeah, but the
And I would refer you to what
quote,
Chris
though.
Dudley said. I spent more time with Chris Dudley in college than just about anyone. And I'd refer you to what he said.
In other reporting, as I'm sure you know, a college classmate described you as relatively shy, but said that when you drank, you could be aggressive or even belligerent.
Whoa, it's almost
and
like
your
every
roommate,
person
as I
who
think you
drinks to lose a
discussed
little
with Senator
inhibition.
Klobuchar, said you were frequently drunk.
Yeah,
Or
and that roommate, that was freshman year roommate.
Yes.
And there was contention between him and the third person. There were three of us in a small room. And you should look at what I said in the redacted portion of the transcript.
So basically, if I were to go, I hung out with Mike, and you've never seen it, but when he drinks, he just punches women in the mouth. That's credible now? That's it. That's absolutely credible. That's 100%.
Be honest, more credible if he said it about Kavanaugh.
An incredibly important job and a position. You had a lot of qualified candidates, and as you're finishing the hiring process, you learn of a credible allegation that, if true, would be...
But it happened in July. It didn't happen in the end of the process. You guys knew since July.
Or move to a different candidate. And why not agree to a 1-week pause to allow the FBI to investigate all these allegations and allow you an opportunity a week?
Because they want a 1-week pause and then another week for the other accuser and then another week. And before you know it, it's November 10th.
Or resolve these allegations by moving to a different nominee.
All 4 witnesses who were alleged to be at the event said it didn't happen, including Dr. Ford's longtime friend, Ms. Kaiser, who said that she didn't know me and that she does not recall ever being at a party with me, with or without Dr. Ford.
What I've struggled with, Judge Kavanaugh, is the absence of a fair, federal law enforcement-driven, nonpartisan process to...
Nonpartisan?
He's just throwing words out there.
No, why a week? Because he doesn't need to be investigated. He's been investigated 6 times in the past before. One more is not going to do anything. Why? Because all they want to do is buy another week so they can make more phone calls and get more allegations. That's all you're doing.
Here's what I don't understand, right? Why are they stalling when you're not going to win back enough seats for you to take over this vote? It's like there is going to be no Democratic majority after the midterms. I'm not saying it's going to be the Republicans are going to sweep either.
No.
But you know what? Fucking pieces are going to move around the chessboard, and at the end, it's going to settle at about where it is now, or I'd say gain a few Republican seats, but not a lot. You're not going to. There's no blue wave coming to save you. So even if you stall, we're still just going to go, all right, first day back, all right, Brett Kavanaugh confirmed.
And you act like, the last 10 days, I asked for a hearing the day after the allegation.
Before I call on Senator Lee, I want to emphasize something here that
Grass is
talking
coming hard.
about doing something without enough time. We had 45 days between July 30th and September the 13th, I believe it is, when we could have been investigating this. And in regard to this candidate, if you take the average of 65 to 70 days between the time that a person is announced by the president and the Senate votes on it, is about 65 to 70 days. And here we are at about 85 to 90 days. So there's plenty of time put in on this nomination, Senator Lee. Oh, no, wait a minute. I got one other thing I want to do. Everybody else has been putting letters in the record.
And no, I'm not going to
have a letter
fix
here
the
from
snack machine.
65
I
women.
told you. You people keep jamming bad Canadian change in it, and then it jammed. I'm not going to keep going to get the key.
Who knew Judge Kavanaugh between...
So now you got to go to the second floor vending machine. I don't care if you got to walk downstairs.
She's pulling things out of the suggestion box. And I've already told you that the break room is closed after 6 p.m. Stop breaking into the break room.
Years 79 and 83, the years he attended Georgetown Prep High School. These women wrote to the committee because they know Judge Kavanaugh, and they know that the allegations raised by Dr. Ford are completely, totally...
Marie's like, does anyone else want a Werther's candy right now?
55 women know
He always has some in his pockets.
Sense in church. Many have remained close friends with him. Here's what they say, partly quoting the letter. Quote, through the more than 35 years we've known him, Brett has stood out for his friendship, character, and integrity.
And he knows how to throw the D.
He also sold the greatest pot we had in high school.
True to this day. In closing, they wrote, Judge Kavanaugh, quote, has always been a good person. So without objection, I put it in the record. Senator Lee.
Judge Kavanaugh, you've been cooperative at every stage of this investigation, both your background investigation and the investigation conducted by this committee. Is that correct?
That's correct, Senator.
It's also correct.
And why did you rape my wife?
The FBI, or when it conducts an investigation, you were a nominee. You're not tasked with the job of deciding who, when, whether, or how conducts an investigation.
It's a Republican from Utah, Senator Michael Lee.
But at every moment when either we or prior to the committee taking jurisdiction over it, the FBI has asked you questions, you've been attentive, and you've been...
By the way, wait till the HuffPost article or the BuzzFeed article. Drinking a lot of water shows that you're scared and lying.
An FBI investigation.
Watch.
And there are some ironies in this. Ironies that ascend at least 2 levels.
I don't like the
In
fact.
the first place,
I don't like the fact that look. I like that he's whatever. He's probably our guy, but why is the bad guy from No Holds Barred getting all in everybody's
Just
business?
let him. He's helping us.
to report those facts to the FBI.
Okay, we need a fucking profile on this guy, the guy behind him.
And
Jesus,
that could have
dude.
been handled in such a way that didn't turn this into a circus, one that has turned your life upside down and that of your family, and the life of Dr. Ford and her family upside down. I consider this most unfortunate, given that this was entirely within the control of at least one of my Democratic colleagues to do this.
Feinstein.
The second level of irony
Nobody
here.
will say it. Nobody will
While
name
calling
the,
repeatedly for an
the
investigation
Feinstein.
by the FBI. An investigation over which you have no ability to control, by the way. An investigation you have no authority to call for. While calling for an investigation, we're in the middle of a conversation that involves questions to you. And so I ask my Democratic colleagues, if you have questions for Judge Kavanaugh, ask him. He's right here. If that's really what you want is the truth.
If you're feeling froggy, nigga, leap.
Of other witnesses, then for the love of all that is sacred and holy, participate in the committee investigations that have been going on, as you have not been participating, with the committee staff investigating the outside witnesses. If someone really were interested in the truth, this is what they would do. They would participate in the investigation, and when we have a committee investigation, a committee hearing with live witnesses, they would talk about that.
By the way, USA Today, 2 men say they, not Brett Kavanaugh, had an alleged sexual
Yup.
encounter with Christine Ford.
Yeah,
Christine Ford, sorry.
and this is like a big story that nobody's. You notice it's not really getting any traction.
From USA Today, the Senate Judiciary Committee was questioned. 2 men who say they, not Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, had the disputed encounter with Christine Blasey Ford on 1982 house party and had the sexual assault allegations. The revelation was included in a late-night news release by Senator Chuck Grassley to the top Republicans on the committee. The release includes a day-by-day view of the committee's investigation, work of the 2 weeks, and since the allegations surfaced, targeting Kavanaugh. Ford was the first to step forward with allegations that claimed Kavanaugh pinned her to the bed. We read all that. The committee has interviewed the 2 men who came forward about the dispute assault at a summer house party. Both told the committee they, not Kavanaugh, had the encounter with Dr. Ford in 1982. That is the basis of his complaint, the release states. The previously unknown interviews could add a new layer to the evolving saga of the eve of a possible explosive hearing between Kavanaugh and Ford.
Wave an FBI report before you. Understand they do not. They do not. They do not reach conclusions.
Breaking news.
They do not make.
What?
The SEC has charged Elon Musk with fraud.
Wait, what?
Yeah, from CNBC. The SEC charges. I'm trying to send it to you, but it's
I'll
fucking.
get it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is legit.
Oh,
Randy at our
shit,
fan
yeah.
page just posted. Sources close to the company told CNBC the company was also expecting to be sued, though Tesla was not named as a defendant.
Elon Musk sued by SEC over funding secured tweet. Oh, that he wanted to go public.
But I mean, I know that people were gearing up for this, but this is. I bet fucking old Gabe Hoffman's pampy today. Probably made a couple bucks.
Since we don't have enough slots for everyone, can
Let's
I
go back to Kavanaugh thing.
Senator Lee so that Senator Kennedy can be recognized? Judge, we did 38 hours in public with you. Did we have any private hearings with you?
Yes.
Was that a fun time for you? When senators could ask questions that are awkward or uncomfortable about potential alcoholism, potential gambling addiction, credit card debt, if your buddies floated you money to buy baseball tickets. Did you enjoy that time we spent in here late one night?
I'm always happy to cooperate with the committee.
That's charitable. Were you ever asked about any sexual allegations when we had that time in here with you alone?
No.
Did the ranking member already have these allegations for,
It's a
I guess this would have been
Republican from,
September
Sass from,
6 or 7?
I forget from where.
Oh, I
And
thought
the
it
letter
was
was
Owen
written on
Benjamin.
July 30th.
No.
A recommendation was
You know, I
made.
was kicked off Twitter first. We heard you, Owen. We
got
know.
it, we got
Stop taking Adderall.
And by the way, I think Dr. Ford is a victim, and I think she's been through hell, and I'm very sympathetic to her. But did the ranking member's staff, did we hear today, make a recommendation to hire a lawyer, and she knew all of that? And yet we had a hearing here with you, and none of these things were asked. But then once the process was closed, once the FBI investigation was closed, once we were done meeting in public and in private, then this was sprung on you. I just want to make sure I have the dates correct, right? Because we got 35 plus days from all the time that this evidence was in the hands. Recommendations were made to an outside lawyer. You could have handled all this.
I'm going to play piano now. Ling, ding, ding, ding. AIDS.
I gotta go because I gotta take Kurt Metzger home.
Trying to see if he could do math about 35 days. That was a little bit of a question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Good
Oh wait, Alyssa Milano put glasses on, so now she's credible. See, she's got glasses on now.
Jury instruction, falsus in.
So people sending her recommendations? Try glasses.
It'll look better.
You think her fucking publicist tweeted her and was like, hey, you forgot the glasses.
Put the glasses on.
Remember the glasses I gave you? Oh,
Put 'em
man,
on.
I got to go back out to the
You're aware
car.
of that
now.
jury instruction?
Yeah, I am.
You know what it means.
You can translate it for me, Senator. You can do it better than I can.
False in one thing, false in everything, meaning in jury instructions that some of us as prosecutors have heard many times.
Another prosecutor, by the way.
Jury, that they can disbelieve a witness if they find him to be false in one thing.
Nice last name, by the way.
The core of why we're here today really is credibility. Let me talk.
The core of why we're here is an allegation for which the 4 witnesses present have all said it didn't happen.
Let me ask.
Oh, snap. Take that, Blumenthal.
She thought these yearbook statements were, quote, horrible, hurtful, and simply
Yearbook statements. Things that were put in a yearbook.
not alumni, clearly implied some boast of sexual conquest.
But he just said it didn't.
Guys, to her, correct?
That's false, speaking about the yearbook, and she said she and I never had any sexual interaction. So your question is false, and I've addressed that in the opening statement. And so your question is based on a false premise and really does great harm to her. I don't know why you're bringing this up, frankly.
Wait till Alyssa. By the way, before this is over, she's going to stand up and screen something and get arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Calling
That's her.
someone.
Oh, she's got the sign ready.
Oh, yeah.
She's tapping her toe. She's got her tweets out.
She's looking at the
She's
clock.
doing the 3, 2, 1. I hope she has I literally hope that there's like just maybe some drug residue or a bubble in her brainstem, and as she stands up, she says something, and something like Freudian slips out, and it's
Doesn't
horrible.
Blumenthal look like the bad guy in every 80s movie?
She's like the bad guy in real life.
Yeah.
She's a great person. She's always been a great person. We never had any.
That's what you know. What he looks like? He looks like she's fucking. He should be in Westworld. He looks like Ed Harris.
It's just unnecessary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Boom!
You blew it.
Reference,
He blew it.
Judge, to a sworn statement, I believe, by Mark Judge to the committee. Is that correct?
I made reference to what Mark Judge's lawyer sent to the committee.
Yeah, it's not a sworn statement, is it?
Under penalty of felony?
Well, it's a statement signed by his lawyer, Barbara Van Gelder.
You know what else I hope happens? I hope Kavanaugh gets confirmed. And I hope that we spend all of 2019 digging into every Democrat, senator, and congressperson's fucking high
it's
school,
coming. Oh, it's coming.
High school through college year. We're going to burn. And you know what? A bunch of Republicans are probably going to go too.
Yep.
Fuck them. We're going to fucking burn them all because you wanted this. You fucking wanted this.
All the witnesses present. Look at Ms. Kaiser's statement. She's Dr.
Let me
Ford's
move on
longtime
to another topic.
Yeah, I'm not going to let you answer the question.
You're owning
I
me
asked.
right now, so let's
Sorry.
move on to another
Let's move
thing.
on to
You're
something
kicking
that
the
I could
fucking
beat you
shit
at.
out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
The whole 2-week effort has been a
Look, did
calculated.
you see Alyssa Milano leaning in because she, you know what she's doing? She has her phone on mute and she's looking at the hearing and at the feed and she's trying to make sure she's on camera. She's 5 seconds away from saying, "Hi, Mom."
An orchestrated political hit.
She's like the
fueled-
guy behind Trump.
Yeah.
I'm the guy making the faces.
and the 2016 election, fear that has been unfairly stoked about my judicial record, revenge on behalf of the Clintons, and
Just see
millions
Alyssa-
of dollars in money.
See Alyssa Milano again in the background.
Yep.
The one eyebrow up and then pop down again.
The courageous woman who sat where you did.
She wasn't courageous. She was mentally unstable. She was not courageous.
She was mentally unstable and pliable to
Yeah.
the demands of a very powerful deep
I
state
would argue that,
organization.
and I don't think Kavanaugh did it. And if Kavanaugh didn't do it, and I don't think he didn't, what they're doing to her is worse than anything. This is they're using a traumatic incident to gain political leverage.
Let me ask you this. In a speech that you gave at Yale, you described, quote, falling out of the bus onto the front steps of the Yale Law School at 4:45 a.m.
I wasn't
then
describing me. I organized,
to-
Senator, let me finish here.
Woo!
I organized a third-year end-of-school party for 30 of my classmates to rent a bus to go to Fenway Park in Boston, which was about a 3-hour trip.
Does he know there's no fighting in the bleachers?
You and I have discussed that before. I bought all the baseball tickets. I rented the bus. I organized the whole trip.
Sounds like a real piece
We
of
went
shit.
to Fenway Park. Roger Clemens was pitching for the Red Sox. We had a great time.
Mike Schmidt had just retired.
Playing third base for the Royals. Actually, he was playing left field that night. And we went to the game and got back, and then we went out. It was a great night of friendship.
I apologize for interrupting, Judge, but I need to finish.
But the question, you don't need to finish the question. He's already
I love
owning
it.
you.
And I love how Kavanaugh's staying calm and going,
Yeah.
let me describe one of the most beautiful nights ever.
Of my life.
By the end of it, you're going to sound like an unreasonable maniac.
And he does. And
It
he does.
sounds like, by the way, he was describing a beautiful memory, by the way.
Right.
That sounds awesome. You and your fucking Yale buddies drinking some beers,
Taking a
blowing
party
each other
bus.
on the bus.
Yeah.
Watching-
You know, the whole Yale thing.
I'll finish asking my question.
Radical Mothering says, objectively, this is such a shit show. No, it is.
It's amazing.
Had to piece things back together. You had to ask others what happened that night.
No,
Okay, you take your time now and answer the question. Yeah. Then Senator Craig.
Definitely not. I know exactly what happened that night. It was a great night of fun.
Who
I was so
hasn't made
happy
a
that
silly reference to like, yeah, us stumbling out of the bar like a couple of fucking jerks? Does that mean we're all rapists?
Yes.
We're all raping everyone.
A little bit on what Senator Lee and
Hey,
Senator
look, it's Mr. Crapo. The Republican.
There's
I
been a
don't
lot
know.
of talk here about we need an FBI investigation. In these processes, which you've been through
This
a number of
process
times
is so
now,
serious. We had to revive the fucking corpse of Dave Thomas of Wendy's. Stop this.
You know who you went to high school with? Yeah, we know.
the FBI
That's why I can't pronounce old fashioned.
Yeah, and that's why his burgers are square and not round. He's retarded.
they don't resolve credibility. They gather the information, and the credibility determines.
I missed the best part. Wait, what part did I skip? I'm not trying to skip ahead. Hold on. What's the best part? What's the best part? Here, I'll go back up it. There you go.
Before I ask you the question,
I wasn't
the
talking
quote
about me.
ends.
Okay, well,
The quote.
Here we go.
Happy.
Judge, do you believe Anita Hill?
Do you believe Anita Hill? Do you believe Anita Hill?
You have to believe all women, bro.
Do you believe Anita Hill? Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, it's not good.
Senator Crapo. Senator Crapo. Senator Crapo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Judge Kavanaugh.
Do you believe Anita Hill? Is that what he asked? Because of the Clarence Thomas thing? First off, it doesn't matter whether or not he believes Anita Hill. That doesn't fucking matter.
Nope.
That has nothing to do with it. Holy shit, dude.
It's just virtue signaling at this point.
No, I get it, but dude, our government's fucked. We're done. We're done.
No, we're not done.
Our government's fucked.
Nah, we'll be all right.
Kavanaugh gets in?
Yeah, he's gonna get in. This has just helped us as far as I'm concerned. This has helped us in the election. We're gonna slaughter the fucking Democrats, but that doesn't mean don't go and vote. Everyone needs to vote. Everyone needs to be good optics right now, and everybody needs to work your fucking ass off for the next 2 months. We need to get this done.
Well, guys, it's time for us to wrap up. I know, I'm sorry, but you guys keep watching, obviously, the
Bro,
hearing.
Tesla is fucked, dude.
Look at their stock prices. What happened?
Tesla is... No,
it's after 5.
Fuck their stock price. I'm looking at the futures right now. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I mean, it's speculative, but it isn't that... Expect it closed at $307 today a share. Expect it to open at about $260, $270 tomorrow. Yeah, if that.
Thank you guys for listening. RevengeOfTheSys.com/donate. Patreon.com/we're-not-sorry if you want to see our documentary, which is fantastic. Hammy put together a really good thing. We'll probably have it up fully this weekend for you guys. We'll obviously cover everything that we missed from the Kavanaugh hearing afterwards. I'm going to trust me. We're going to plow through this and watch all of it. Thank everybody for listening. Is there a Nightwave tonight?
Yeah, there'll be a Nightwave tonight.
All right, YouTube.com/Nightwave Live. Michael posted it now in the chat. And if you want to follow my show, it's youtube.com/Daywave Radio. I'll be doing one tomorrow morning. But of course, Revenge of the Sis for the Friday show, 4 to 6 p.m. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate all the donations. Streamlabs.com/Revenge of the Sis if you want to give their SPLC legal fund. Thank you for listening, guys.